Okay, let's see if we can get a little bit of clarity on this situation, guys. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer. Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, the situation with the new public defender system in Idaho when it comes to Ann Taylor representing Bryan Kohberger. There is a lot up in the air for this, and I am still standing by what I said about how I don't think this is going to be as big of a deal as everyone is trying to make it seem, and I am going to explain my reasoning like I always do. So, the very first hearing we had in Ada County in front of Judge Hippler in the Idaho 4 case, Ann Taylor came out and was stating that there were no contracts for them, and it didn't even matter at the time because the change in the public defender system was not going to be happening until the following week on the 1st of October. Now, from everything that I have found, this is something that has literally been in the works for like a decade. It's something that they have been trying to get together for 10 years. The person who is in charge of the public defender office in Idaho was just put in office of September of last year. And he's also going to be in the sealed hearing that's happening in the Idaho case in front of Judge Hippler with Ann about Bryan's representation this following Tuesday, October the 8th. Now, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and I really would love some actual answers in the comments without any of the ridiculousness. If someone comes in here acting like an a-hole, you're getting blocked. I don't care if you're somebody that's been here for a while or not. I'm so tired of stupidity. I'm just going to start blocking everyone. So here's the question, and I want serious answers, and this has nothing to do with what you feel about the case itself. I need you guys to be able to separate the two. If I can do it, you can do it, okay? So, regardless of how you feel about this case, what makes you think Ann Taylor is worth $200 a billable hour, but Bill Thompson is only worth about $50? And that's a serious question. I've asked for so long why all of the things when it comes to lawyers, the courtroom processes, how long these murder trials are supposed to take, why is it the norm that they're allowed to just drag their knuckles, not actually work on the case every day, not actually do their job, keep pushing back deadlines and acting like they just don't have enough time in the world? No, you know who doesn't have enough time in the world? Me. I don't have enough time in the world. You know who does? Ann Taylor, Jay Logsdon, and Eliza Massoth. You know why? Because at the time before this whole public defender changed, they had 1 million people working for them. They have interns doing research. They have paralegals looking up stuff. Ann Taylor is not sitting there doing $200 an hour worth of work. I promise you that. That's not normal. The way that lawyers bill their hours is literally one of the biggest scams out there. And with 25 investigators and experts, plus an entire office full of people doing work, she's not deserving of $200 an hour, guys. Why is $100 an hour not enough? That's the biggest question too. Why is it that the new contracts that are giving them $100 an hour are not good enough for some of these lawyers and they're literally just walking away from it altogether? So instead of also doing their normal lawyer jobs in this economy, they're literally passing up working for the public defender office because they don't want to take $100 an hour. That's absolutely insane, especially considering the way that lawyers actually bill these billable hours. So there was an interview that I'm going to play you guys, and I'm going to pop in and give my little comments here and there on it, because so many people have been saying this whole time, well, Ann Taylor wasn't given a contract. Oh my God, there's no contract. But there was. There was. One was handed to Ann. Now, whether she signed it or not, I don't know. But let's go over this interview and then we'll discuss some more.
The biggest change is we're going to have uniform representation across the state.
Eric Frederickson was appointed to run the state public defender's office by Governor Brad Little last year. Little signed legislation making Frederickson responsible to organize all 44 public defenders under his roof with the help of district defenders.
Now, something that I read in that House bill was that every quarter there was like $9 million going to be added to this public defender fund, which equals like $36 million a year. And more can be added if need be. There's just like documents and shit that would have to be filed. And more can be allocated if it needs to be. There's just filings for those kinds of things. But $36 million is a lot of money. And I don't find a problem with things being uniform and equal. People that have a problem with that are honestly weird to me. I'm just going to say that.
So there's a caseload of X amount of cases today. What happens tomorrow to that caseload in certain counties?
So we met over the weekend. As you can imagine, the job doesn't stop on Friday.
Now, again, keep in mind that Ann Taylor was sitting there saying how they didn't have contracts, this, that, and the other, trying to make it sound like it was a personal issue only affecting her and her team when it wasn't, on Thursday, before the weekend, before the 1st of October, before everything was switched over and the actual changes were being implemented. That's why I said what I said about Ann.
And so we had a big meeting with all our district defenders, and our district defenders are absolutely crucial in this. They're the individuals that are familiar with the areas. We did coverage. That's all we did this weekend, is make sure that everyone was covered throughout the state.
Did y'all hear that? So the weekend, which was a day or so after Ann came out in court acting like it was a woe is me and woe is me only situation, that following weekend, all of the district people got together with the state of the public defender's office and got everything taken care of. And you're going to hear a little bit more here in just a second.
The new state public defender says this will benefit the entire state. So why are some public defenders not so happy about the change?
They're underfunded. They're undermanned. It's going to be a train wreck.
Underfunded for what? Your ridiculous amount that you want to charge for no reason whatsoever? Like, honestly, I really just feel like these people got used to being overpaid for what they're doing. Let's just be for real. Everything that we are seeing is because we have been conditioned to believe that this is how it's supposed to work. And all we do here on YouTube for the majority is complain about how the system doesn't work. So why, whenever there's changes to the system, is everyone freaking out about those changes when everyone was just previously 5 minutes before that freaking out about how nothing works right? Humans are so strange.
Current and soon-to-be former Elmore County Public Defender Terry Ratliff is not a big fan of the new system, mainly because he says he simply can't afford to stay open.
The contract that came out, the offer from the state public defender's office for all the contract attorneys is we'll pay you $100 an hour. We won't pay for any of your staff, and you have to get pre-approval for paralegals. I can't open the doors to this office at $100 an hour.
You can't open the doors to that office at $100 an hour. Sir, you're sitting there acting like you're working one case at a time, not 30. Because let's just face it, these lawyers are working multiple cases at a time. So you're sitting there telling me that for $100 an hour on top of the other cases that you're working, you can't keep your doors open? Maybe you're letting your business live beyond your means, if that's the case. So you're telling me that the same staff that you have working all the rest of your cases can't take an hour out of their day to do research on a public defender case that's getting you $100 an hour when you're already paying that paralegal or that staff person to be there in the first place because they don't get paid per billable hour like you do? They're getting paid whatever you're paying them hourly or whatever their salary is. So you, sitting in that chair, are just being bougie as shit, acting like $100 an hour isn't enough, when in reality it is. Because like I just said, they're not working one case at a time. They're not getting $100 an hour times one. They would be getting $100 an hour probably times like 5 or 6. if not more, plus on top of their normal billable hours for what they're doing with their other clients. That's why all of this is just so stupid to me, because they're not sitting there working one case at a time.
I asked Jim County Public Defender Mark Kuntz why he won't be in the office on Tuesday.
So you made a personal choice.
I did. It, with the new contract rates and kind of what my business, it didn't make sense for me to continue to drive out here and work as the public defender.
Again, this is somebody who wants us to believe they're only working one case at a time. If they have multiple cases, then that's multiple hundreds of dollars per billable hour. I'm just not understanding this. So you're telling me that you're going to just basically close down your entire practice and not work as a lawyer whatsoever anymore? That's what I'm getting from that conversation. So for $100 a work hour, you wouldn't drive across town to a normal job? See why this stuff doesn't make sense to me? Like, I just feel like it's just them wanting more money when it's not necessary. Again, this is just me. And I'm looking at it from, I've been a victim in these things. I know that the prosecution doesn't do their job either. They dilly-dally around and waste time. I'm seeing it right now in my own situation, where literally every 2 months, another hearing gets scheduled, and they just do everything they can to just push everything back to bill out those billable hours and get more money from those public defenders and get more money from the prosecution lawyers. It's all so ridiculous. And that's practice everywhere. So they're not just doing like a whole bunch of hard work. Most of the time, they're going in front of the lawyer for like 20 minutes, and then another hearing is getting set, and they're not even prepared. They don't even read what they're supposed to be doing. They don't even go over any of the information. They're literally just going in there, answering a few questions, and then they're done. They're not even worth $100 an hour, if you want to be for real, when it comes to the way that most of these public defender cases work. Now, when it comes to high profile cases, there definitely should be a difference in the way that those are paid out. And that actually might be what ends up happening here. We don't really know yet. But a public defender that's literally defending somebody against like a DUI or like a possession charge, why is $100 an hour not enough? Come on now.
Kuntz explains how it works currently and how it will work starting Tuesday.
Each county had, they were paying their public defender the rate that I would negotiate with the commissioners. And some counties paid $150, some paid $200, but now every contract is $100 an hour across the state. And other counties, they were making less than that. So they did get a bump up.
See, that statement right there really is what bothered me. Because that tells me that like a majority of people are probably not actually getting paid $100 an hour, but there's a few of them out here that were getting paid that or more, and they're the ones out here running their mouths because they don't want to take a pay cut when they know damn well they're not deserving of what they're getting. And look at this guy's office. He's got his dog with him at work. There's obviously a couch that he can probably take naps on. It looks like he's at a home office. Obviously, we saw the sign and we know that, but that little building looks like a house. All right, let's be for real. So he's doing what? Hanging out all day in like basically a lawyer man cave? And he can't do that for $100 an hour? I know people that would do that for free.
Fredrickson, whose father was a public defender, says until he has the data from all 44 counties on this new system, he cannot go to lawmakers and ask for more.
Our goal ultimately is that's not enough for public defenders. We need more, but that's where our budget is currently.
And like I said, when I was reading over the House bill, they were allocating $9 million every quarter. That equals to $36 million a year. And y'all heard what he just said. That's just for now. The goal is to get more, but that's where it sits at the beginning. $36 million is a lot of money. It might not look like it because of what we see being thrown to other countries. Well, we have hurricane victims here that still don't even know where their family members are or know where they're going to get their next hot meal to eat. Okay, let's not even get started on that situation. But $36 million is a lot of money. And maybe if people would stop breaking the law all willy-nilly and stop being stupid, this wouldn't really be an issue. Because let's face it, what are the most public defender cases? DV situations, CA situations, drunk driving, possession charges. It's not normally something crazy like murder. Now, there are plenty of murder cases that have public defenders. We see it all the time, but we also know that that's not the majority. Okay? So maybe they should have done more like a fee schedule for certain classes of misdemeanors needing to be, defended by a public defender gets this amount of money. The next class of whatever gets this amount. Then like first degree felonies get this amount, second degree felonies this amount, third degree felonies this amount. They should have maybe done it that way. But I still don't disagree with them wanting to make things more even, because you're hearing Ann Taylor getting $200 an hour. Bill Thompson, his salary, according to what I'm looking at, is like $100,000 a year, which equals to about a quarter of what Ann Taylor is making. So for him to make $200 an hour, he would have to bill 4 billable hours to Ann Taylor's 1. And I asked somebody in the comments on my last video, what in the world makes you think she's worth this much money? And I was told her experience. Okay, well, she's got half of the amount of experience as Bill Thompson. And as much as we don't like him, it still doesn't make much sense to me that he's making 25% of what she makes. So if we're going off of experience for monetary value, that's still ass backwards.
As far as the high-profile Bryan Kohberger murder trial goes, that will happen in the Ada County Courthouse sometime next year, Frederickson made it clear he wants consistent representation and has made a contract offer to public defender Ann Taylor.
Did y'all hear that? Let me play that one more again.
Ann has made a contract offer to public defender Ann Taylor.
Ann Taylor was handed a contract. If she signed it over the weekend, I don't know. If she's not going to sign it, I don't know. I highly doubt she's going to be off of Bryan Kohberger's case. This is probably the most high-profile case she will ever get to touch in her entire career. There's no way she's going to walk away from this case. I think that they're going to end up doing some different type of negotiations in chambers on Tuesday. Because like I said, as much as I agree with them trying to make things more even, because there's no way in hell that some of these lawyers working the exact same kinds of cases are getting less than $100 an hour, while others are making $150, $180, and $200 an hour. That's not right, just because of the county they live in and the amount of money the county can afford. For it to be handled by the state to be even across the board, I have no issues with. I have no problems with whatsoever. But I will say that high-profile cases like the Bryan Kohberger case, like Daybell, like Vallow, if those were still a situation going on, which I think there is still stuff in court going on with one of those. Anyway, anybody that is in one of the Idaho case of interest cases on the portal, those definitely should be paid differently. So we might actually see something different come contract-wise when it comes to Bryan's case. That would make the most sense to me. But regular old schmegular cases, there's no reason why $100 an hour is not good enough. It's really just not. We know how lawyers really work. They're not sitting there on a 9 to 5, sitting at their desk, actually working the entire time. 75% of what lawyers do is lunch meetings and phone calls. Let's just be for real. But I just wanted to get this little interview out there for you guys to see, and of course, put my ridiculous 2 cents in. I know people don't agree with me, and that's fine. I don't need everybody to agree with me. I need to agree with me. It needs to make sense in my head. Nobody else's. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you were not subscribed already. And don't forget to make sure that your notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.